Kim, why don't you pitch me first? Give these guys a taste of what you say on the phone and what gets you to bring the business in.
Okay.
And I'm going to answer the phone as the gatekeeper.
Sounds good.
All right. ABC.
Accounts receivables, please.
Who's calling, please?
Kim Goodwin with Lyons and Associates. Can you connect me, please?
Yes, I can. Hold on. Accounts receivable, this is Mike.
Hi, Mike. Hi, my name's Kim Goodwin, and I'm with the firm Lyons and Associates. We're a commercial collections company with a division that specializes in construction materials. How does your company work with delinquent accounts right now?
Well, we do everything in-house when we have delinquencies.
Yeah, that's great. We work with a lot of companies who do their core business in-house, and then what we do is we support them by working with anything that ends up being something that they're considering writing off. We really can do a lot for you to reduce those write-offs dramatically. Do you have anything right now that's out at like at the point to where you're considering writing it off?
Well, yeah, but when they get to that point, we just send them to our lawyer.
And what happens then? How long does that process take?
Well, it depends. He sends them a letter, and if they don't respond, he sues them.
And what happens at that point? Do you typically get a lien or a judgment?
Well, yeah. Usually we get a judgment.
How often are you able to collect on those? What ends up happening at that point?
Well, we all know judgments aren't always very collectible. So, a lot of times we end up still writing it off.
Yeah, we've found that a lot of people who end up jumping to the legal system run into those same types of problems. And so, like, if you were to put something with our collections firm before sending it to legal, what we can often do is see if the business is collectible, and we're often able to bring you in a lot of money faster than if you send it to legal first. And in fact, our collectors will determine if it's something that needs to go the legal route. But you might be surprised that they've found that only about 1% of the business that we get is actually something that needs to go through the legal process. I don't know, is there anything that you'd be willing to give us a shot at? Maybe a few test accounts?
Well, I don't know. I've heard all of this before. We get 4 or 5 calls like this a week, and the last time we used a collection agency, it was the same thing. They said they could do all of this stuff for us, but nothing really happened. It was empty promises. And if I want empty promises, I can call our past due accounts and get those.
Well, I definitely understand that, and that's actually something that sets Lyons apart. Our company founder had worked for companies like that in the past, and he thought it was just completely illogical how so many accounts would come through and not be worked. And so our company really, we focus on customer service. We make sure that each and every account is worked all the way through to the point to where we find out either that we can collect some money or that it's uncollectible because the person actually has no capability of paying. And so I understand what you mean about bad experiences with other companies, but there really are a few good companies, and we're one of those, and we happen to be one of the ones that's producing the highest yields in the industry right now. So even on including older business up to 2 years old, our average is in the 45-47% range right now. That's extremely high yields.
That's impressive. You must get a lot of business in with that, and that just leads me to believe you may not have time for me. If you guys are that good, you must see a lot of business, and how do I know I'm going to get my status reports? How are you going to keep up with me if I send you business?
Well, that's the customer service part. And so, we provide 24/7 online access to a portal for our clients where you can update yourself with status reports anytime you want, including seeing the collector's notes. And transparency is really important to us. That's something that our founder realized was missing in just about every other collections company he had experienced. So, yeah, that's, instead of waiting for status reports from your rep, who would be me, you can go on and check it at any point in time. And we found that our clients really appreciate that because they're able to then update their bosses whenever they need to and not wait on anyone.
You know what you're telling me, Kim, sounds impressive. I've got to ask my boss.
Oh, so who usually makes the decisions to work with collection companies?
Mr. ABC himself does.
And do you normally work with the accounts first and then hand them over to him, or do you just hand them straight to legal?
Well, he tells me to hand them straight to legal. If we can't do anything in house, if it's going to be a write-off, we already have an attorney in place that the account's going to go to, so I just send them over. For that, he doesn't have to sign off on it, but anything for us to adopt some type of new policy, that's going to have to be approved by the president of the company.
I get it. Well, I think that this could really help you in your position too. I mean, that's our goal, is to work with our credit managers and our collection managers and help them to provide a better service to their boss and their company. Would there be a time when I can speak with him and explain the benefits of this system?
Well, he's real busy, so he doesn't take these calls usually.
What would you think? What would you do in my position? How would you go about getting this information to him?
Well, I don't know. I'm not in your position.
Well, how about this? Could you talk to him and see if we can set up an appointment? There must be an appointment time I could set up.
Yes, I could do that, but he's probably going to want me to handle it. Is there some information that you can send to me?
There is. I have brochures that I can send over with more info, but can you tell me, so I can send you the correct information, can you tell me first about how many accounts do you run into per year or per quarter that you end up needing to send to legal?
Typically per quarter, it's about 50 grand, which is it's only about 1/4% of our annual sales.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or our quarterly sales. I'm sorry, quarterly sales.
And how many accounts are those? And about how old are they typically at that point?
Typically, they're about 6 months old when we go that route, and we get about 10 of them a quarter, so they're about 5,000 average balance.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so as you're saying, at that point they're about 6 months old, and so you work them first in-house for that first 6 months and then pass them on. Is that correct? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, something like that. I mean, usually we really only work them for about 120 days.
I see. That's actually a great point at which they can be sent over to us, and we are, like any collections, we're much more effective if it's done earlier rather than later. We can collect a lot more the more timely this is done. Something else you might consider, we offer free 10-day demand letters. And so after you were done with your process, if you were to turn the accounts over to us, we could actually do a free 10-day demand letter first, in which it would come from us and it would, have the clout of a collections company, but it would give them that little window in which to try and, hopefully facilitate payment to you. And if it didn't, then we would take over and do the collections process. Do you have the authority that you could just try that out with a couple? I'd love it if if we could show what we could do and then show your boss how we worked. It probably would help him to decide whether or not we were something to stick with in the long run.
Okay. What information do you need to do that?
I would need the name of the account, so I'd need to know about the businesses, make sure they're still in business, and then contact information for them, your invoices, and you're in construction, so if you guys have any information on these people, on if they're contractors, on their license status, that sort of thing, or a credit report from them, their credit application. So, but basically, whatever information you have, the most important being the contact information for the debtor and the invoices.
Okay. And now you said you guys take over after that. Could you explain to me what that means?
So if you were to place these accounts with us, once it went past the 10-day demand part, if we decided to do that process of providing the free 10-day demand letter, then if the debtor did not pay, at that point our collectors would take the process right there and begin it on their own. And so they would contact the debtor, they would look up information about the debtor and their assets, and they would start facilitating collection by putting pressure on the debtor to pay. We could rate this according to how assertively you want this collected. And so basically the process just begins at that point. Once our process begins, then any amount that is collected, we would be owed our fee for that collection.
Okay. Now, how do I know you're not just going to say you sent a letter and not even send it, just hold it for 10 days and put one of your collectors on it?
And that's where the transparency part comes in. Our company founder, integrity and transparency is the foundation of this company. And so as soon as this is input into our system, you can see everything that's happening and every step that our collector takes by looking in at the status reports. So that 10-day letter will go out right away, and it'll be input in there into where you can check out to see that it's been sent.
Okay, so you're telling me I'll be able to see a copy of a letter. How do I know it was actually put in the mail?
Okay, and that, Mike, is where I have to ask you. I don't actually know the answer to that one.
The answer is we do not mail them. We fax them. And we put confirmation of the fax, of the completed fax, into the system. And what you do after the demand goes out, and maybe we should call it a 10-day fax demand. That way it's a little more clear how it's going to go out, because most companies that do offer a 10-day demand, they send it out by the mail, and their client has no way of knowing whether that letter was actually sent or not. So they could take a letter and stick it in a scanner, put it in, and say, "Oh, here's a copy of your letter that went out. We didn't actually put it in the mail, but here's a copy. Let us know if they pay you from our letter." And then they don't actually send it, and they sit on it for 10 days, then a collector goes after it. Agencies are notorious for that.
Oh, funny. Thank you for explaining that. That was one little gap in my knowledge because I haven't had used one of these letters yet. And so, yeah, interesting. Okay.
So when we send something out, we have a fax confirmation. that the letter did in fact go out.
That's great.
And the beauty of this is you're not going to email them that fax confirmation. You're going to make them log in and get it themselves so you can show them a tour of our system.
Mm-hmm.
It's a beautiful thing, you know?
It is. It's simplifying things for everyone, which is nice.
We're going to coin this as NSS, Never Stop Selling. Well, it's a perfectly good way to get them in there to give them a tour.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it shows them our transparency. It shows them that, hey, look, we actually did fax your letter. Here's the confirmation. But also, while you're here, take a look at our system, man. How cool was that?
That's great. Thank you.
Right, good deal. You had an answer for everything. That's what I like. And the 10-day demand, we rarely ever get somebody to do one of those, but it's something that's a fantastic way to get that client, the one that's on the fence, to get them to come in and place the account. And this is something we want to use on, you know, their 90 or 120-day stuff. If they've been sitting on something for a year,
Mm-hmm.
we want to just get the account. We don't want to offer them a 10-day demand. And on a 10-day demand, they're going to have an agreement to fill out, just like a collection agreement, but it's going to basically let them know that once that 10 days expires, we're going in for collections after that.
Got it. That makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mike.
And one of the things some of you have probably seen me do, if we've done any conference calls, I wanted to mention this because I'm not sure if everybody knows how I handle a rate negotiation. When it comes to the point of negotiating rates, even if we already know what we want to charge that client, you know, how far we're going to go below our standard rate, because maybe it's a large balance account, you know, maybe it's 90,000 or 50,000, and we can come down a little bit on the rate. One of the things we want to do is well, first of all, we want them to give us what they have in mind first. Okay, and if it's acceptable, you may accept it, or you may want to bring it up a little bit. But one of the things I always do when somebody gives me a rate, even if I know good and well that I'm going to jump on exactly what they've told me, I give it a pause and I give it a sigh and I think about it for a minute. And what this does psychologically to the prospective client is it helps to deter them from trying to go even lower or put additional terms in there. And, you know, it's just a simple, well, I don't know. And then you give it a nice, uncomfortable pause. And then you say, oh, well, okay, I can do that. And, you know, that's one of those things you want to use. Um, Edward Elkins, are you there? All right. Well, Hank, give me a pitch.
Sorry about that. That my mouse was bleeping out. It wasn't working. I couldn't click my mic.
Your mouse was bleeping out.
Yeah. It's giving me a little noise and then it's not moving, so I don't I think it's just it's there's something it doesn't fit right in my laptop, the USB port thing. You want me to still go?
Yeah, and whenever you have a mouse problem, buy a Python.
I've got a cat that's really good at catching them, but
Oh, that's got to get messy.
yeah. Yeah, he catches birds and then brings them in the house and he'll go out and get another after I take that out of his mouth and
Well, when a cat does that, a cat showing his appreciation.
yeah, he brings us a present.
Yeah, he's giving because you feed him, he wants to show his appreciation and say, "Hey, look, I can hunt too."
Yeah, and he brings me snakes. That's the worst part.
Good deal. All right.
Country cat. Okay, so go ahead and give you a call, huh? Okay, so are we?
ABC, can I help you?
Yes, hi. My name's Edward with Lyons and Associates. May I speak to accounts receivables, please?
What is this call in regards to?
Well, Lyons and Associates, we are a debt recovery firm. So, who would make decisions regarding your delinquent accounts aging past 90 days?
Edward, we get 4 or 5 of these calls a week, man, and they're not even going to talk to you, so you're wasting your time calling.
Okay. Well, could you pass me on over there anyways? I understand you get quite a few calls. Line Associates, we have 3 times the national average for recovery yield and an A rating with Better Business Bureau. And there's a lot of things that our company can do that the other companies that are calling you can't. And I'd like to speak to who's ever in charge and at least give you guys some information.
Well, Edward, if I was a decision maker, man, I'd love to give you a shot, but I can tell you, man, they're going to get mad at me if I even transfer you through, man. They don't want any sales calls.
Okay. Who would I speak to? What would be the? Can you give me a name of somebody I could speak to, or at least patch me to your manager?
Well, it's not going to matter, and my manager's busy.
All right. Can you tell me? Does your company extend credit?
Sure, we do.
Okay. And
But look, I have another call coming in. I'm sorry to cut you off. I have to go. Thank you for calling. Let me tell you what happened there. You allowed the gatekeeper to shut you down. When you call and ask for someone, never give your name and your company first.
okay.
Because you want the opportunity to say, Edward Elkins with the firm Lyons and Associates, can you connect me, please? Otherwise, if you give them the ammo they need to ask you what your call is regarding, they're going to take that ammo and they're going to shoot you with it. You're going to get shot with your own gun. And getting through the gatekeeper is going to end up being a huge obstacle for you. Whereas if you do this, when they say ABC, hi, I need to speak to your accounts receivable or credit manager, please. Who's calling, please? This is Mike Lyons with the firm Lyons and Associates. Can you connect me, please? Sometimes they'll come back and ask you something, or and what I do, a lot of times I'll just give them my name. this is Mike Lyons. Can you connect me, please? Then I'll say, what company are you with, Mr. Lyons? I'm with the firm Lyons and Associates. Can you connect me, please? And what you're doing is you're catching them off guard. You're taking away their opportunity to ask you too many questions. You're giving them the feeling that you're busy and that your call is very important and that you don't have time to waste and you need to be connected now. Now, this doesn't work every time, but it will work more times than giving your elevator pitch to the gatekeeper and allowing someone who is not the decision maker to tell you no.
Okay, that only comes up every once in a while. I kind of mix that up. I think that happens to me. The reason why sometimes I start out right away, I think that's why I got it in my head, is because a lot of times I'll ask them, I'll say, where's the accounts people? Well, what is the name of your company? They come up with right away, before they patch me over. But I never get too many people that stop me right at that point. Just every once in a while I'll have somebody, what is this regarding? And then I'll say, aging accounts past 90 days, delinquent accounts, whoever, can I speak to whoever's an authority over your accounts that are past 90 days? And then sometimes that comes up, I'll get the gatekeeper and I'll think, okay, I gotta call them in another month and they'll forget about me or something.
Well, I don't want you to mix it up. I prefer that you do it the way I'm saying every time. Try that for a while and see if it works better for you. You know, be a little more evasive with the gatekeeper, and you'll get through more times. Because if not, what you might find is you can end up having more people than you'd like to have making a decision that is not their decision to make. And if you ask, can you connect me to accounts receivable or your credit manager or whomever you're calling for, right? And they say, who is this? This is Mike Lyons. Can you connect me, please? And they say, who are you with? I'm with the firm Lyons and Associates. Can you connect me, please? What you're doing is you're exerting importance. You're exerting the fact that you don't have time to waste, that you need to be connected to that person because there's something important that needs to be discussed with them. And if you just trust me on this, and try it for a little while, man, see how it works.
Okay.
You know, don't completely take my word for it. Try it out, man. Take it for a trial run. See how it works for you. Another thing you want to do is get that elevator pitch down and immediately follow your elevator pitch with a question. You know, does your company use collection agencies or attorneys for delinquent accounts receivables? That should always be after your elevator pitch. Hi, I'm Mike Lyons. I'm with the firm Lyons and Associates. We are the top agency in the country for yield on collected accounts. Do you, and you know, or something like that, you know, something that's not giving them too much information, but giving them a little bit of information. You want to leave a little bit to the imagination and a little bit to question. Or actually, you want to leave a lot to question. You want them to ask questions. You want objections because you want to be able to engage that person, that prospect that you're speaking with. Because if we can't engage, we can't sell.
When I've been coming up with that, usually after I give my pitch, then I'll ask him about. I'll do that. I do ask. You know, do you collect in-house or using an agency or do you use a lawyer? and once they come up with that answer, then I ask them another question. I'll say, oh, okay, and how many 10-day demand letters are you working with now? That I just added that in. That's been working for me, so I can kind of get a feel of whether they're, you know, they've got some invoices out, or what I'm dealing with, you know.
Okay, and don't ask them about in-house.
Okay,
Keep
don't ask them.
what you want to know is if they turn their stuff over to a third party. If and it, what happens if you're asking them about in-house? Every one of them is going to say yes. We collect them in-house. Is that what's happening?
Yes.
You know why?
Why?
Because everybody does collect them in-house, and you're giving them an automatic objection.
Oh.
If what you want to find out, do they send it to a third party? You want to know that because that's going to give you the basis for the next part of your pitch. Everybody handles accounts in-house. You know, if you're calling and just trying to get them to say yes more often, then they'll say yes to that, absolutely. But what we want to do is get them to engage. We want them to object, and we want to see that objection as an opportunity for us to sell them. So let's start over. I'm the gatekeeper. ABC.
Okay.
ABC, may I help you?
Yes. Hi. May I speak with accounts receivables, please?
Who's calling?
My name's Edward. Edward with Lyons and Associates.
What is your call regarding?
Aging accounts past 90 days.
Okay, what account in particular?
Um. uh, I just need to speak to whoever makes decisions regarding your 90-day delinquent accounts.
You just got hung up on.
Oh, that never happens.
Well, it would happen if I was answering the phone, and if you can get past me, you can make a lot more sales.
Okay.
I'm not trying to give you a hard time. Understand what I'm
No, I
doing.
understand.
Understand what I'm doing is what's going to make you the best. That's what we want here. We're looking for domination. We're not looking for competition. We're not looking to keep up with the Joneses. We're looking for domination. So you want to be able to get past me. And if you can get past me, if you can sell me, that means you're a beast. Because I'm going to give you every objection in the book and every hard time that I can think of that I've run into in the past. And I've made a lot of phone calls selling this type of service. So let's start over.
Okay.
ABC, may I help you?
Yes. May I speak with accounts receivables, please?
Who's calling, please?
My name is Edward with Lyons and Associates.
What is your call regarding, Edward?
Delinquent accounts.
See, man, you stuttered there and everything. Let's start over. I want you to tell me and put some oomph in it. You know, put some confidence in it. Who's calling? Edward Elkins. Can you connect me, please? Who are you with, Edward? I'm with the firm Lyons and Associates. Can you connect me, please? Try that.
Okay.
ABC, may I help you?
Yes. Hi. May I speak with accounts receivables, please?
Who's calling?
Edward Elkins. Can you connect me, please?
Who are you with, Edward?
Lyons and Associates. Can you connect me?
Okay, take that pause out of there, man.
Sorry.
Lions and Associates, can you connect me, please?
Lions and Associates, can you connect me?
Can you connect me, please? Always say please. It's polite, and but it's kind of forceful too, and you want to sound a little. You want to be confident, but you want to be in a hurry. Okay, you want to be in a hurry. So let's start over. ABC, may I help you?
Yes. May I speak with accounts receivables, please?
Who's calling?
Edward Elkins, can you connect me, please?
What company are you with, Edward?
Lions and Associates, can you connect me, please?
Okay, better, definitely better. And when you do that, you want to exert confidence. You don't want to sound frustrated or anything like that. You want to sound like you're in a hurry, like you mean business. And hey, I need to talk to them now. Let's do this. This is basically it's basically telling them in a nice way, look, I'm not calling to talk to you. Put me on the phone with whoever I asked to speak to. That's the nice way of saying that.
Okay.
One more time. ABC, may I help you?
Yes, may I speak with accounts receivables, please?
Who's calling?
Edward Elkins, could you connect me, please?
Who are you with, Edward?
Lions and Associates, can you please connect me?
Okay. Work on that, man. Trust me on that. When you do that, it sounds like you mean business, and that's what you want to sound like because we mean business.
Okay.
All right. Now let's say you got through and you're talking to me. I want you to pitch me. This is
Okay.
my accounts receivable.
Yes, hi. This is Edward with Lions and Associates. Are you the person I would be speaking to who makes decisions regarding your accounts that are aged past 90 days?
No, that would be our collection manager.
Okay. And is the collection manager in today?
Yeah, the collection manager's in every day.
Can I speak with the collections manager, please?
Yeah, hold on. You have reached the voicemail of Mike. I'm the collection manager for ABC. Please leave your message at the tone.
Okay. At that point, I just hang up.
Okay. What you want to do? Ask them for the name of the person before they connect you.
Okay.
Instead of are they in, who is the person that handles that? Get the name, okay, and put it in your contact. That way, because they're going to put you off. Most likely, you're going to get put off on that phone call. Because right now, this has ended up just an investigative call, finding out who to talk to. Okay, now you put the name in your contacts, and when you call them back, ABC, hi, I need Mike Lyons, please. Who's calling? Ed Elkins, can you connect me, please? Ed, who are you with? I'm with the firm Lyons and Associates. Can you connect me, please? Or can you connect me to Mike Lyons, please? You see how that kind of flows through? And now you've got the ammo to get to his phone rather than his voicemail.
Okay.
See, we want to put a little bit of psychology in there because if they are given any chance, and I know you may not run into that a whole lot, where people might be putting you off, but you will run into it, and if you do the things I'm telling you to, you're going to talk to a lot more people about business and less people that are wasting your time. Because a lot of what you do in sales is how you manage your time and who you talk to about business. If you're spending too much of your time talking to the wrong people, it's not going to produce you much business. If you take steps to talk to more decision makers, you will talk to more decision makers. One of my rules in life is if I want something, I get it. Now, I may not always get it right then and there, but I figure out what it is I want. I figure out what steps I need to take to get it. I find out the best way those steps can be taken, and I take the action required to make whatever steps happen to get me closer to whatever goal. And the same thing is what is required when you're selling. You take all the little pieces of the puzzle and you start putting them together. You put them where they fit, and next thing you know, depending on what size your puzzle is and how many pieces are in the puzzle, you have your big picture. You know, and think about it. A 1,000 piece puzzle is going to take you longer to complete than a 250 or a 100 piece puzzle. And puzzles, they can be frustrating, especially if there are a lot of pieces. However, you know one thing about a puzzle. If you keep putting the pieces where they go, you're going to have the big picture. And that goes with anything in life, anything you want. If you take the steps required to get it, you're most likely going to get it. Usually the only question is, how much are you willing to do to get what you want? That's usually what it is. That's usually what stands between us and what we want. Hey, give me a pitch, dude. ABC.
I just have one question about what you did with Edward. And what do you say? What's your response when they say, "What's this in regards to?" And that's the name.
What's this in regards to?
Or not? Well, either you or Mike. Yeah. Well, you said it a couple times. You say the past due 90-day receivables, or what do you say, Mike? When
I say it's regarding delinquent accounts.
okay.
And then I say, can you connect me, please? If they do spring that on me, what's this regarding? Delinquent accounts. Can you connect me, please?
Okay.
And when you keep it simple with the gatekeeper, you give them less of a chance to tell you no for the decision maker. And some of them are still going to get you, no matter what you do. Because, man, gatekeepers, we've got a whole new breed of gatekeepers out there. Okay? Some of them are very good at what they do. So we need to be just as good as they are, if not better.
Okay.
So give me a pitch, man. ABC, may I help you?
Yes. Can you connect me with your financial controller, please?
Who's calling?
Yeah. Hank Pavin. Can you connect me, please?
Who you with, Hank?
I'm with the firm Lyons and Associates. Can you put me through, please?
Sure, Hank, hold on. Hi, this is Mike, the controller.
Hey, good morning, Mike. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. What can I do for you?
Yeah, my name is Hank Pavin. I'm with the firm Lyons and Associates, and was
Uh,
wanted to find out if you guys ever use outside sources to help you with your past due or uncollectible receivables.
Well, we do mostly everything in-house, and I mean, if we can't connect in-house, we've got a attorney on staff that files suit.
Okay, well that's interesting. How? Tell me more about that. How that works with your attorney?
Well, they don't pay, and he sues them.
Okay. What happens? What happens typically once he sues them?
Well, most of the time we win the case, we get a judgment, and you know, we take it from there.
Right. Yeah. The judgments those can be effective. I mean, how long does that typically take, Mike? The time frame.
Well, it varies, man. No two judgments are the same.
The 3 to 6 months on average, would you say, or?
Well, I don't know, sir. I haven't averaged it out. I mean, I just know when I'm done with them, our lawyer handles it. I'll put it on his desk, and I'm done with it at that point.
Okay. All right. So So after the attorney finishes off, how much do you end up actually writing off at the end of the year on accounts, Mike?
Well, we just automatically write them off once it has to go to the attorney to sue them. We automatically put it in as a write-off.
How much is that on a quarterly or annual basis, Mike? Typically,
Around 50.
about 50,000 annually.
No, quarterly.
Quarterly. Okay. And what's the average balance on those accounts, sir?
About 5.
About 5,000. Okay. All right. What do you think's causing you to have that many accounts? I mean, so that's about 10 accounts a quarter. I mean, what's typically happening with those accounts?
Well, selling on credit, we're always going to have some bad apples in there. It's just part of doing business. And with my department's experience, they've been able to get our write-offs down to about 1/4%.
Right, that's good.
Of our actual sales. So I mean, the owners are pretty happy with the way I'm running the departments.
Right, right. Yeah, you're definitely doing a great job. That's even below the industry average. So congratulations there, Mike. So at what age do you typically send them to the attorney when they get what aging?
Well, whenever the collectors in our collection department, whenever they decide to stop calling it, which is usually, I'd say after 90 days or so, they're done beating up on it, and they probably sit around for another month on the aging, and then they get a letter from our lawyer, and then if they don't respond from the letter, he goes down to the courthouse and files the petition, the summons for suit.
Okay. All right. And then so we're talking about 200,000 a year. It may vary some that you're sending to the attorneys. And how much are you recovering on that using the process with the attorneys?
I really don't look at those numbers, but I know we're not putting much after we write stuff off. We're not putting a whole lot back on.
Okay.
So I know whatever it isn't much.
Okay. All right, Mike. Well, it sounds like you've got definitely got a good process in place. What I might, I have a question for you. If you could, increase that number significantly, would that be of interest to you? And on that 200,000, if you could, instead of getting the low amount, let's just say it's 40,000 or 20,000, you can increase that to 100,000. Would that be of interest?
Well, yeah, I think it would be.
Okay. Well, what I'd like to do, Mike, is suggest that you can send these accounts to us to look at before you send them to the attorney. And what that's going to do is two things. We're going to go in and find out if there's money to be collected there. If there is, we are very effective in our collections, or we're going to find out some of these people, as you know, may not have the ability to pay. Would you agree?
Well, yeah.
So those once we determine that, you won't incur any expense with attorneys, and we can move on those. The ones that are just not willing to pay, those are the ones that we try to go after and collect. What I'd like to do is get some test accounts from you and see if we can increase that return for you. Would that be of interest to you?
Yeah, it would be.
Okay. Well, great. What you have your aging report with you right now?
Yeah, it's in my pocket.
Okay.
I couldn't help that one.
Yeah. Okay.
No, let me pull it up, Hank. Let me pull up the aging. Okay, I've got the aging up. I've got about 30 right now that's over 90. 30,000 over 90 days.
Okay, 30,000. So it's probably about 6 accounts based on what you told me before.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's get started with those, and that'd be a good test on those 6 accounts, and we'll get to work for you today on those. How does that sound?
Okay. Let's do it.
Well, great. I'm going to send you a collection agreement, Mike, and a list of what we're going to need to the information on those, and we'll get started on those for you today.
Good deal. Good deal. One thing I want you to work on is you still sound a little nervous, man.
Okay.
But good job, man. Your pitch it's getting honed, man. Like when you take a knife after you sharpen it and put it on a honing steel, man.
It's a process. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. I'm liking what I'm hearing. And about working on your stuff, everybody. Whenever I give any criticism, never take what I tell you to heart. I still learn new stuff every day, and I still do something every day to improve my salesmanship, because even though I'm really not on the phone much selling anymore, I still have to do business deals. And, well, everything about business is sales. Everything about it. Everything in dealing with people. I think, man, everything in life is sales. When you go to buy a car, you don't act eager in front of the car salesman, because if you do, he's got you. You do that, that's your ass, man. He's got you. If you act a little wishy-washy, well, I don't know. He's going to start selling. Psychology. And this works in anything in life. Psychology, salesmanship, these are the things that make the world go round. You know, and in the morning, man, my dog wakes up and starts selling. You know, it's in the form of books. You know, feed me, take me outside. You know, it's all about selling. What do we have for questions? What do we have for comments or anything else? Somebody talk to me.
I really love hearing other people's approaches and little new ways of just communicating with people. It's nice, and I find that very helpful.
Absolutely.
I have a question. Okay, I every once in a while I get those people. They're really harder to make any real conversation with. They're just they're like, well, we do great in house. You know, we collect so well. I get those people, and a lot of those people I can actually start convincing that we have there's a value to our service that that's more effective. But there's ones that just they won't even budge. They're just, oh no, I've already told you we do great. We collect all our accounts and this and that, and it's hard to believe they collect all their accounts. They're just they're just trying to get rid of you, or just don't they feel like their job is at stake if they use us. There's like I'm insulting them by offering our services to them, because they're the accounts receivables and.
Well, what we want to do on those is let them know that we just want to be an extension of what they're doing. Okay, and also on the ones that won't admit that they have anything delinquent on the books, those superstars, that's the credit manager with the cape on, that's dressed in red tights, and it says super credit manager on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I get a lot. I get those guys people all the time. I'm excellent. I've been doing this for years and I've never had any problems. Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. When is the last time you ran into a real live superhero with superhuman powers?
Yeah. Never. So.
Me either, man. I've been looking for one, but look, check this out. Appeal to their ego, and do that by saying, "Man, get excited, man, that's awesome." One of the things I do to help my current clients out is consult them on things they can do to make their in-house process better. Man, could you give me some pointers on what you do that makes you so successful? Ask them for help. Play to their ego. And 9 times out of 10, they're going to stutter and say, "Oh, well, I don't collect all of them." Oh, so you mean we're to the truth now? And that's something you can do, and it works. Because sometimes you're going to get those, and a lot of times you're not going to get through to the super credit manager because, they're a superhero. They don't have time to deal with mere mortals like us, but it's good practice because if you can get the superhero to engage you, you can get a regular human to engage you. It's good practice. It's good salesmanship. It's a good salesmanship improvement exercise. Now, some of them you will get through to, and you might get some business out of them. I've gotten plenty of business that way, but for me, the super credit manager is more of, to me, it's more like a game. It's fun. It's fun to me to play that little mind game with them because, I'm good at it.
Okay.
So, have you ever tried anything like that? Feeding to their ego?
I have, and yeah, and I've had a few times where it's enabled me to get them to talk. They'll actually go and tell. So sometimes they don't come back stuttering, and instead they'll tell all of their processes and procedures and the things that they do, which have made them effective. And it's been really good for gathering information. I've had others though where the person has just is so confident in their ability, and that to the point to where they just can't be bothered with anyone else. I had one woman who almost hung up on me. I mean, she did end the conversation, but it was just with a click. And so yeah, I think that is one of the hardest types to work with, and so you just kind of have to view it as something. I kind of view it as a game like you're talking about, where just a positive game where you are trying to see if you can at least get them to tell what they do. So if you can get them to talk about something, you have some information you might be able to work with in the future. But if they won't even talk to you and just hang up on you, obviously, there's not much to do.
Right. And, I wasn't even looking at the learning portion of it, that it can help teach you what companies do. But that's an absolutely incredible point, Kim, because it can help you learn about how companies that are very good at handling accounts receivable, how it can help you understand how they do it. And another thing about the reason you want these superheroes to engage you is because it's great practice. Okay, the mind it's like a muscle. If we exercise it, it grows. For example, most of the reason they teach you algebra and calculus and trig in high school or in college is to exercise your mind. You're not going to use that stuff. Well, I'm not going to use most of it. Some people might use it, depending on which career path they choose. But it's designed to exercise your mind. Doing the problems exercises the mind, and dealing with difficult people, especially those that think that their crap does not stink and that they are the absolute best in credit management, those challenges help us to become better salespeople, and it also helps us to be able to help our current clients better. So, awesome point, Kim. And I'm taking something away from that. I didn't even think of what we can learn to help our clients out from that. I'm just focused on the sales part and the exercise your mind part of it. But that's awesome.
Well, thank you, Mike, and I really appreciate that, because I mean, I feel like I learned that from you actually, and but it has helped. I mean, I also don't throw away those prospects, even though I know they're not real likely to do anything. I figure one lady, for example, told me she's going to be retiring in a year, so I just put her on there with a little note, and now I know how their company works with things, and I know that someone else is going to step in. So I figure, that's information that might be useful in the future too. At least that's the goal.
Good deal. Good deal. All right. Well, do we have anything else?
Yeah, I guess that's interesting what you say, Ken. That's something I'm trying to figure out. You talk to somebody and they tell you they don't have a need and whatever it might be, they might say, go through their in-house and maybe do a great job, or whatever they're talking about. I'm still trying to decide on some of those. What do you do with it? You do like what you said, call them, put them for a call back, or you delete them. I haven't figured out an exact way to do that, and there may not be one, but that's still something I'm kind of thinking through. You got all these leads, and when do you decide to delete one, and when do you decide to call them back?
Yeah, I actually had an example happen yesterday where I called back some leads that I had prospects that I had called, goodness, like 3-4 months ago, and they had no need, and they'd been pretty, firm in that, and that they weren't going to have any need in the future. But since I was able to leave the conversation on a positive note, I called back and just said, oh, we spoke a few months ago, and I'm just calling you to see if you have any delinquent accounts that have possibly come up, and given any thought to this about sending things over to collections. And I actually found that they had softened up the second time around. Like several of them actually recognized me, and so I was able to. They were just a little nicer this time, and so I was able to get a little bit further and get more information out of the situation. So I think the potential's there, and unless someone's just horrendously rude and there's no other person to go to in the company, I haven't really deleted anybody. Actually, I think I've deleted a couple prospects that really were no need, that weren't the right type of company to be in the list. But yeah, I kind of debated the same thing myself, and then thought, well, these might be useful in the future sometime.
That's a good thought. I'm just kind of, while you're talking, I'm thinking, maybe if you get someone, like you say, that's engaging you, but didn't have a need today. And I've done that some where I say, call them back in 90. Let me call you back in 90 days and see if anything's changed. But that's but you get the ones that are just not wanting to talk, and like you said, rude or what have you, just real short.
Yeah, then I think that it helps then, just to try someone else too, because I've found that sometimes there still is somebody else you can talk to, even if they aren't necessarily the decision maker. Sometimes the person who's pretended to be the decision maker and who is kind of rude and short, if I called back and I got a different department, I actually found out that person that I'd spoken with previously was not the decision maker. And sometimes people are kind of faking it just to kind of get rid of people. So that has been useful to me, just trying different angles, even if the first person I've spoken with in the company has pretended to be the decision maker and blown me off.
Some good stuff. All right. I guess we're going to shut this thing here down. And unless if you guys still have stuff to say on there, we're not going to shut it down now. So
I think I'm good, and Hank, you had a lot of good ideas and comments. Thank you for them.
Thanks for your feedback, Cam. You always have good ideas, and it's good to get information from other people and pick little bits and learn. Like I said, learn a little every day.
absolutely, it feels like a team when we do that, and I'm big on working like a team. Even though we're all in different parts of the country, hey, we can still be a team.
Actually, I just thought of one other thing that I've stumbled upon, Hank, that might help too, is when I get someone who's kind of blowing me off and they're trying to pretend that they're the decision maker. I actually just stumbled upon this by accident. I saw that in one big company, they required anyone who was going to work for them, like a collections company, to apply to become an approved supplier. So when someone's trying to blow me off now, and they're trying to get rid of me, but they're trying to pretend they're the decision maker. I ask them, oh, so well, does your company have an approved suppliers list that we could apply for to be an approved collections company to work, with your collections department? And that usually catches them because I don't think any companies really have that except for a few big ones. But thus far, that actually got me somewhere because the person, I was able to determine if they were the decision maker or not, because most of the time they kind of went, what? Well, I don't know. Well, okay, you'll have to ask blah, blah, blah person. And then I found out they weren't the decision maker. So it was kind of a funny little thing that might be useful.
I like that.
I like that. It's good stuff. Right. Well, I guess that wraps this thing up. And I think I'm gonna actually go and eat lunch on time today, man. It's noon. Usually I'm sitting here, 2 o'clock rolls around, and I'm like, man, why am I starving?
That's funny. Go eat. Go eat.
Yeah, that's because I haven't eaten since 7 a.m. That's why I'm starving. But anyway.
Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you, Mike.
Likewise, and I'll talk to you both soon, and let's make it a powerful day.